and welcome to another video. Today I'll be showing you how to make Ravey Jungley Breakbeat in the style of Fiesta Soundsystem, inspired by their tracks M4 Energy and Core 020 Bait Tune. The project file, samples and presets are available for a small contribution in the description, as well as via my Patreon. Feel free to like and subscribe, and remember to leave your requests in the comments. If you like this style, check out my UK Garage Breaks and Mini Breaks packs in the description, and my denim audio video. Our BPM is 138 and we're in the key of F minor, although there's somewhat of a chromatic feel with the melodic elements, as we'll see later. Let's start with this breakbeat kick. I've gone for a roomy kick in the style of bait tune, so something punchy with a long tail. I've processed this with drum bus, utilizing the boom to add more sub. Next, we have the drums. And this breaks group, I'll go through the break elements one by one. This is the control break. Then we have multiple instances of the think break. I noticed in M4 Energy, there's a good variety of affected or altered breaks. So I've done this here. For example, there's filter automation and echo. And these are just snare runs. And these are just snare runs that are going up and down in pitch, which is a common technique in jungle. We've also got this low think break, which I've pitched down by 5 semitones and added some echo to. I've also used reverse breaks at the end of bars 2 and 4. There's a tambourine too. So this tambourine sort of fills in the gaps where the main break isn't playing. I've used funky drummer as well. Then we have the clap. And this is layered with the breakbeat snares. Finally, we have the hats. So we have hat 1 and hat 2. These are in a drum rack and a choke group with some panning. I've applied this MPC groove to all the drums, including the kick, and this helps humanize the percussion. On the drums group, there's drum bus, EQ, and reverb via Sende, which for this project is this basement preset. Next, we have the basses. Starting with the first sub drop. For this, I've used pitch bend. The basses in bait track have more dramatic or longer sub drops, but shorter ones tend to work better with more melodic tracks. In Serum, we have a sine wave taken down by 2 octaves, with its unison turned to 3. There's a low pass filter with drive and distortion in the effects. I've added utility to mono the bass, and this is because Serum pans the unison voices. Then I've applied drum bus with compression to level out the volume changes that come from the unison voices phasing with each other once they're monoed. This processing is actually applied to all the basses, as you can see. Next, we have the respace. As we'll see later, the chords follow this bass line, and this was inspired by M4 Energy. The patch is almost identical to the previous one, but this time I'm using saw waves, and of course there's no pitch bend on the MIDI. Again, we have distortion in the effects too. Then we have the final pitch drop. This is very similar to the last couple of patches, but there's pitch modulation inside Serum this time. So we have LFO1, which is modulating the master tuning. As well as the low pass filters cutoff being modulated with 2 different LFOs. And this is to add some finesse to the filter sweep, particularly by using the rise parameter in LFO3. Using multiple LFOs on one filter can help create more dynamic basses, although you could also use multiple filters and LFOs if you wanted to go for something more complex. On the group, there's EQ, mild parallel compression, and sidechaining from the kick. Plus reverb via A. Next, we have the effects. In all cases, these have been time stretched using the texture algorithm before being brought into the project. Those of you who make jungle will be aware that this is an excellent way of making almost any sample sound like it's from the 90s. These have various echoes with high feedback and wetter echoes on the zap and siren sample. On the group, there's drum bus, EQ, and reverb via A. Then we have the melodic group. Starting with the main pads. The original sample is a chord, so although these look like 2-note harmonies, they're actually rich chords. I've added a bandpass filter with a small amount of LFO applied for some movement. There's EQ, and I've used Serum effects too, utilizing hyperdimension to add width, and the phaser sounds really jungly by default too. Finally, there's an echo. Next, we have the marimba. These generally follow the chords, but I'm moving arpeggios of triads around. which is what gives it a jazzy feel. Fiesta Soundsystem uses this technique in M4 Energy, and it's common throughout rave music. I've altered the velocities and applied the MPC groove to humanize the marimba. This is Ableton's default collision marimba, although I have tweaked it a little. We have drum bus, some more Serum FX. This time I've added distortion too, plus EQ, and some echo. Finally, we have the strings pads. As with one of the basses, I've added pitch bend at the end. As you may have heard, this patch is an edited version of my sidechain strings pad and is available as a free preset, which I'll link in the description, along with the full video. In Serum, we have two heavily unisoned oscillators, a saw wave in A and a sine wave in B, with the sine wave modulating the square via LFO2. There's a filter too, with its cutoff being modulated for movement by LFO2. We can also see LFO1 is modulating the level of oscillator A. There's drive on the filter, and there's distortion in the effects. On the channel, there's EQ. It's actually cutting the lower harmonic from the strings pad because there's already a lot of mid-range in the project. And then we have some echo. On the group, there's EQ, parallel compression, and bass mono up to 500 Hertz. And reverb applied via send A. Next, we have this stretch jungly vocal. This has echo applied, plus reverb via send A. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.